Recently, Prime Minister Mark Carney and Premier of Alberta Danielle Smith had a memorandum of understanding to try to get a pipeline built in this country, or at the minimum, start a framework and conversations to get that done. But in the interim, there have been a lot of obstacles for the Liberals. Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Lorrie Goldstein and Brian Lilley. Okay, Lorrie, we talked about this when the MOU was signed. We gave it high praise, high marks. That at the minimum, a discussion was starting. It sounds a bit pathetic that we're even happy about that, but here's where we are. That's where we are in this country. So since then, Stephen Guilbeault, the then finance environment minister, has resigned, and Carney, to his credit, is attempting to sort of grab this Liberal Party of his back to perhaps a reasonable place, economic place in reality. Trudeau pulled them so far to the left. But what's going on with Carney attempting to try to have some semblance of a reasonable policy when it comes to these issues?
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. The hysteria over this that's coming from putative advisors to Carney and and supposed allies. I mean, okay, Stephen Guilbeault has resigned, and now he's saying that the MOU in Alberta is fueling Quebec separatism. I mean, it's absolutely idiotic.
Make that make sense.
Well, there's an Abacus data poll that says, well, no, Quebec are the least supportive of like the pipeline, but there's 42% of them who support the pipeline, and as opposed to Guilbeault standing in Quebec, only 25% of Quebecers, think he's doing a good job.
Mhm.
You just like the weird thing that's going to happen is that people like us, people like me, are going to start talking about, well, look, Carney came in and you thought, oh my God, what is this guy going to do? He's like the leading corporate shill for higher carbon taxes. Now, he still wants to have an industrial carbon tax, but he got rid of the consumer carbon tax. It was hard to criticize him on that. He's postponed the mandate that 20% of electric vehicles sold in Canada have to be SUVs by next month, which would have caused chaos and which would have raised prices for EVs and for conventional cars. And he's talking about, look, if we can get some movement on this pipeline, and we can do stuff like carbon capture, and well, then maybe we could make some changes to the tanker ban so that we could get this one oil pipeline putting oil into Asian markets, which would be good for the things that the same liberals who criticize him for on this say we have to do, which is to lower
Mhm.
our economic dependence on the United States, give us new markets, particularly on oil, because we have to sell our oil at a huge discount to the Americans because there's only one customer. So I think we're going to end up from our perspective, in the strange thing that while there'll be criticism on this issue, we're more allied with Carney than his own allies. It's utterly bizarre. And it shows, as you said, Carney is trying to drag the Liberals back to the mainstream of Canadian politics,
That's right.
socially responsible, fiscally responsible, which is where most of the votes are. And it seems that the biggest blowback he's getting is from Trudeau-era Liberals. It's astounding.
Brian, there's plenty of criticism we can lay at the feet of Prime Minister Mark Carney, but on this measure, I have to wonder that he's a money guy, he's a finance guy, he sees the books, probably looks at the books himself, and he probably is wondering, what the hell did Trudeau do? What the heck did they allow to unfold in this country? I mean, we're an economic basket case, and so on this one issue, he's attempting to be national, have the national project, be broad-minded about it, looking at other markets and all of those things. And it's incredible the blowback he's getting internally.
That Abacus poll that Lorrie mentioned, I believe it was 70+% of conservative voters said they approved of the MOU. It was only
Yeah.
about 54% of liberal voters approved of the MOU. They have gone. A good chunk of the Liberal Party has joined David Eby and his Mud Hut Brigade, wanting to tear down Western society. Like we can all, what is it the other day? The mayor from BC was saying we can all work in whale watching tours and fair trade coffee shops. Like that's going to be our economy if these guys persist. So look, are there problems with the MOU and some of the things that Smith and Alberta have to do? Absolutely. But I still think, as I did a week ago, that it's going to move us in the right direction. And I think that we will get to that pipeline. There's going to be some hoops, but this is the right thing to do. And if so, if some people who want to put on hair shirts and live in a mud hut are upset, I'm happy. I'm happy that they're upset because they have been downgrading our economy for years. It was several months ago, speaking with Premier Smith, and she said if we had gone ahead with those pipelines that we were talking about a decade ago, we would have about 55 billion in extra government revenue coming in. She said, think of what you could spend that on. That's what we have to be thinking about, not whether someone in darkest, deepest annex in the middle of Toronto wants to make sure that people in Calgary can't drive their vehicles.
Well, Prime Minister Carney is going to have to stick to his resolve to get a pipeline built in this country. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and go to thetorontosun.com. You'll find commentary and coverage there you will not find anywhere else.